welcome to Young Kizzy, the one YouTube channel. If this is your first time on my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the red subscribe button down below and turn on the bell icon. Tell me what you think about this video in the comment section.
In political office, particularly those in government. I have observed that what is going on of late has not been good for the people of Zambia. And I think I can sum up what has been going on of late in one word, one Bemba word, which states that ichalo nomba nangula ama politics na yaluka nina katango yama political leaders elonishina abashabantu kunuma. Our politics now na yaluka nina katango. Katango simply means competition. Now, the competition that we are seeing among the political players is one competition where you leave the people of Zambia behind. You want to compete as political leaders. Compete on personal interest with leaving out the people of Zambia who we are supposed to represent as political leaders. What is happening now is each one feels this issue that has come, I must be seen to be a winner. This one also comes and say, this thing that has come, like for instance, the constitution making process, you want to be a winner, you don't want to listen to others, as long as what you want is achieved. This is very, very bad for Zambia. This will end up in tears. Because the people of Zambia are watching, and they're able to differentiate sense from nonsense. And I want to warn all politicians and praise singers, political blind followers, that when you start thinking that the people are stupid, the people will react in a way that you'll be very sorry. And for the people of Zambia, they react in the ballot. I remember Dr. Kenneth Kaunda said, the women did not vote, that's why I've lost elections. I remember President Lupia Banda cried when he lost elections. Our dear brother, the late President, President Lungu, my dear brother, lost elections when he was convinced beyond reasonable doubts. There were a multitude of people following every time he had an engagement. We saw a lot of people marching in solidarity with the president. This is exactly what we are seeing now. We seem not to be learning from history. And if we are not learning as political leaders from history, we are not different from them that have been there before. But I believe, and I'm convinced beyond reasonable doubts, that to be a good leader, you must learn from past mistakes and never repeat the mistakes of the past. Because people of Zambia react and vote in accordance to the behavior and the way they are seeing the economy and many other aspects of social life are being handled by those in power. But all the government that comes so far seem not to learn from the past mistakes of others. During the MMD time when we won elections against MMD as PF, the biggest thing that the MMD were saying was, we have done very well. Economical growth is 7%. GDP growth is 7% per annum. GDP growth is 6% per annum. And yes, indeed, during the MMD time, the economy, we saw the highest GDP growth in the economy of 7%, 6%. But this growth never trickled back to the grassroots. This growth never improved the living standards of the people. Mind you, leadership and governance is a way of having recourse to the living standards of our people, the poverty levels in the country, the state of the health sector, the hospitals, the clinics, do we have the drugs? And more importantly now, the power or the energy sector, and obviously the fuel, that's diesel, petrol, kerosene, A1, jet fuel. If these things are not controlled in terms of expenses, you'd find that no matter how your economical growth in terms of GDP goes up, the people will still remain poor. And that's why I said, hapo to Africa number, it appears that icharo chesu na chaluka ama politics na yaluka nina katango among the leaders, but leaving behind the most important, who are the citizens or the people of Zambia. This is very dangerous. I want to narrow down this to what was happening just in the last 4 or 5 days. The Oasis Forum, who has been speaking for the people of Zambia from the 90s when the Oasis Forum was formed, and the church mother bodies, which have been speaking and, organizing dialogue between governments and the people, are now being treated like a non-entity group. From 1991, when there was a call to repeal Article 4 of the Constitution of Zambia in order to reintroduce multipartyism, it was the same Catholic Church, the Council of Churches in Zambia, the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia, that called a meeting at the cathedral to harmonize what those in government wanted and those who were calling for multi-party democracy wanted. And I remember very well, that meeting went on very, very well. Dialogue was applied in an honest manner. Because if you have dialogue without being honest, it's not dialogue. If you have dialogue where there is no give and take, it's not dialogue. Dialogue must not be one-sided. But what I've seen is appalling, to say the least, where people even start to insult the Catholic Church, the church mother bodies, and the Oasis Forum. In 2021, before the UPND came to power in 2020, 2021, it was the Oasis Forum, it was the church mother bodies that played a pivotal role in making sure that Bill 7 did not go through. And we saw the current president, His Excellency, His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, praising the church mother bodies and the Catholic Church. There is even a video in circulation where it said, I want to take this opportunity to thank the Catholic Church and their bishops for standing up with the people to make sure that Bill 10 is defeated. Today, the president bodies and the Oasis Forum as haters. Let us learn to be truthful. Let us learn to be truthful, because if we are not truthful to one another, and if we want only support for what we want to happen, then we are not worth being called leaders. What is good for the goose must be good for the gander. What has changed today? That the church mother bodies, the Catholic Church, have become haters. Is it because they are not supporting Bill 7 just as much as they did not support Bill 10? And because a sitting president wants Bill 10 to go through at all costs? And the problem that we have in this country, it's us the citizens. It's us the citizens. We are allowing this kind of manipulation. We are allowing politicians to manipulate us, use us to achieve their personal interests. I don't think Bill 7 is meant to improve the living standards of the people. In my view, Bill 7 is basically to help somebody to be in power in perpetuity. Because, countrymen and women, we have so many problems. Our civil servants today live in squalor. Our civil servants today live in squalor. No civil servant can afford today, and when I mean civil servants, I mean the police, the teachers, the nurses, who are in the majority in the civil service, cannot afford to live in Kablonga. Because the cost of houses in Kablonga are so high as compared to their salaries. Nurses cannot afford to rent a house in Woodlands, Kablonga, and all these affluent areas. Because the salaries that we are paying, government is paying civil servants, is far much below the JCT center of a minimum monthly basket for a family of 6. Rentals now in Kablonga, rentals now in Woodlands are not less than 8,000 kwacha a month for a house. For a 3-bedroom house in Kablonga, Woodlands, in Chalala. And by the way, who wouldn't want to live in Kablonga? Even the teachers, the nurses, the doctors, even doctors are not able to afford to pay for accommodation in Woodlands, Chalala, and these affluent areas. And yet, we sit and say everything is okay. And yet, we sit and even ask the people of Zambia as political leaders that where do you live? Things are so good. Those who are saying they are not good, where do you live? They live in squalor. It is an insult to find teachers renting servants' quarters in Woodlands. Teachers renting guest wings, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, with toilets outside. And then a reasonable person worth is sought by MP. You can think of increasing parliament by 54 MPs. I tend to wonder. Mwelesa wesubusha nani watulowa. Zambia wechalo chesu nani watutipa. Teachers are not able to pay rent in the areas where they're supposed to live in accordance with their qualifications and the level of education that they've attained. Nurses, doctors. And yet you are thinking of going to bring 54 extra MPs. I have been very consistent as Shimba Kambwili. Even in 2016, those who were with me in parliament and those who were with me in cabinet, I refused the proposal to increase the constituencies. You can ask Vincent Mwale, you can ask Honorable Lubinda, you can ask, and I stood my ground and said, no, we don't have enough money to run government. We are failing to buy adequate drugs in hospitals. We are failing to pay our teachers well, then we should increase politicians. Let's say an MP's allowances and salary for one MP is about 50,000 on an average a month. Surely you want to pay another extra 54 people 50,000 a month? Another extra 54 people, give them a grant of 100,000 to buy a GX after 5 years, when teachers cannot afford to pay for accommodation in woodlands, when teachers cannot afford, I don't even know how garden boys, maids, and guards are even managing. We are going to have a situation where people are going to live in grass-thatched houses within Lusaka because they are not able to afford accommodation. But what is the priority of the politician? Going to increase more MPs to come to parliament. And people say this is progressive. In my view, in my humble view, I feel that what we need is not more constituencies or delimitation of constituencies. All we need is total decentralization. Remove all those people that you've put at ministries in Lusaka who are earning money for doing nothing. Take them back to the local authorities. Absorb them in the councils. Let us have more money going to the councils, not only CDF. CDF is fund for micro projects, small projects. And even when you say you are giving 30 million or 36 million to the constituencies, it is not all the money that is going for development. It is not all the money that is going. In fact, most of the biggest chunk of the money under CDF is being still controlled in Lusaka, where you decide we shall buy ambulances for all constituencies. We shall buy monitoring vehicles, and the whole essence is to go and show off, go and bring those vehicles in the stadium, call everybody, another expense to come and collect one ambulance, 15 people from a district. And we say we are leaders. Come on, Zambia, we can do better. Come on, Zambia, we can do better. Government from Kaunda days have been buying ambulances. I've been buying vehicles for the police. I have never seen a situation where you call people in a stadium and show them, we hand over the police vehicles, and you spend more money to organize that function. And that's what I'm saying. Politicians don't learn. And as long as we have politicians who are not learning from past mistakes, we are not going to go anywhere as a country. When the late President Edgar Lungu took the fire engines to hand over to the districts, the UPND condemned it. Akainde Ichilema condemned it to say you cannot waste money to go and bring districts to come and collect fire tenders. Just take the fire tenders to the districts. But what we see when he comes in power, the same thing continues. You buy vehicles for the constituencies, you bring all the districts to come and collect. You buy ambulances, you bring everybody to come and collect. Mwebena Zambia kwena nangu tulafuli ngwa tula wala tubepa. Efide chibemba chiladi nataka kunyelele takalawa. Chilifye chifilifye omukonso. Chisesa chitonto litonfa. Mano ikwatile te ashinguluke koshi. Leaders must learn to listen and listen from the people. I remember my mentor, my political mentor, Mr. Sata, once told me that Kambwili, if you want to make it as a good leader, listen to the people. And he said immediately, a leader develops an attitude of wanting to be feared and not him fearing the citizens, that's the beginning of failure. Kambwili, if you want to be a good leader, muletina abantu. Nefi abantu balesosa. Because ukuteke chalo, to take le chalo for the good of the people. La mwamona fe ntungulu shilefu abale itina, not ye no kutini abantu. Mishimeshi batile ntungulu shi is a failure. This is what we are observing now. You want to do a peaceful demonstration, you are met with police. You want to have a political rally, you are met with the police. The people says, look, we don't want Bill 7. It's not a priority. You just push it. Push it. When we say the Bill 7 has already been decided on, and no matter how you are going to fight, this man, our brother, will not listen. People thought we were joking. And he wants to play on the minds of the people? No dialogue. I'm calling for dialogue. I told you 4 or 5 days ago when I had an interview on KBN, I said this dialogue is keeping up appearances and is doing it for the international community so that when they start pressurizing them, you've passed a bill that the people have refused. They said, no, I called for dialogue. Here are the pictures. The Oasis came. Here are the pictures. These people came. What happened 2 days ago at State House where the so-called non-government organizations or CSOs who are in support of Bill 10 is a shame to this country. Because we know that those people were stage managed. Those people were stage managed. Look, let's carry a comparison of the two. When the Oasis Forum went to State House, the president gave his opening remarks. After giving his opening remarks, they asked the Oasis Forum to also give their opening remarks. Only one person spoke from the Oasis Forum. And immediately she finished, they switched off the TV coverage. Even on the president's Facebook page, they discontinued the broadcast. Whatever they discussed, we were not privy to it. But when these so-called CSOs in support of Bill 7 went to State House, we saw even cheers and I can't understand. Adulations, cheers. Everybody who went there was shown on national TV. And even the concluding remarks by the president, we watched for about 2 to 3 hours. Now, Zambians, are we fools that we are not able to differentiate sense from nonsense? That this group of people were given full coverage, and this other group of people were given 2 minutes coverage. It clearly shows you that those so-called CSOs, who went in solidarity were stage managed. That is why they could even insult the Catholic Church. And what is worrying us now is that everybody who is supporting the president, when anybody who is supporting the president insults the church in general and the Catholic bishops and priests, nobody from the UPND, including the president, scolds that person or condemns that act or that action. Mr. President, this simply means you are sending those people. I challenge you today. Distance yourself from the Bishop Kalesha's sentiments against the Catholic Church and many others who spoke there. Please scold them, warn them, and ask them to retract the demeaning statements. Then we shall take you seriously. That's what I'm saying. We must learn by mistake. We must learn from the mistakes of the previous people if we have to make good leadership. I am telling you, this country needs healing. This country needs a point where we should say enough is enough. No political persecution, no vengeance, no harboring hatred, no taking previous leaders to task unnecessarily, no jailing of people unnecessarily. But that does not mean that if somebody commits an offense genuinely, a genuine offense of maybe corruption, that they should not be taken to court. They must. But these cases, manufactured cases, no arsony, they bent the vehicle of somebody, no tribal remarks. When so many people from the UPND side have used tribal remarks, including the president himself, you want to jail others, hate speech, seditious practice. These things must come to an end. Let's for once love one another. Be like me. I don't harbor resentment. I don't revenge. Even if you hate me today, tomorrow will be smiling. This is what I want all the leadership in this country. That's the attitude they must, inculcate in our youths and in the citizenry, including the leadership. Let us not take it chalo ukubanina katango yama leaders while leaving the people behind. Let's decentralize, complete decentralization. Where there is decentralization, let me tell you, Luansha Municipal Council who must be independent on their own. They must run the hospitals in Luansha. They must run all the schools in Luansha. They must run all the government departments in Luansha. If you are employed by Luansha Municipal Council as a nurse and you want to move to Kitwe, you must resign in Luansha and go and look for a job in Kitwe because it must be a different entity. That is total decentralization. You cannot have a committee sitting in Lusaka calling itself a local government service commission, employing people for all the councils in the country and say we have decentralized. Jack Mwimbu and I, including my friend Gary Nkombo, when MMD brought this thing of local government service commission, we objected to it. We vehemently objected to that. But it appears I'm the only one with Honorable Lubinda who have remained with that view. Why are we behaving like this? That what we reject when we are in government, when we are outside government, we want to accept it and embrace it when we are in government. This kind of attitude must end for us to develop Zambia. Like I've said, we don't need 50 extra constituencies. We need total decentralization. Bringing in 50 people, 50 MPs is an expense to the treasury. That money can be used to increase the salaries of teachers, can be used to buy drugs in hospitals, can be used to employ more doctors, teachers, and nurses. And for you, my dear young ones at the University of Zambia, mweba iche, chiwemba chitila, mweba iche, muirisha ntanga, isabitalila anwa. Stop being used. We could see that all the presidents were wearing the same suits, new blue suits, from a shop called what is that shop at Mandai? I've forgotten the name of the shop. They were bought those suits for that function. Somebody bought them those suits. Elwaba icholi kuskulu bayamushitla suit na tie. You think kutatontonga nyabwino? Commander. What nonsense. Abantu baleona ule chalo, baleona ule future yenu, and you are supporting them. And by the way, we should think about the external interference when students are having leadership elections for the union. In case you don't know, what usually happens is that politicians go there to sponsor individuals. Political parties go there. State House gets involved. I know of somebody at State House who was busy when there were elections of these student unions, because I received all the information. Was busy taking money to the students to sponsor those. So those leaders you were seeing are sponsored leaders. And they'll always follow what their masters say. They know deep down the bottom of their heart that what is happening in the country is not correct. But Abaiche have been held at ransom by the highest bidder. Baiche Wandi, University of Zambia Student Union, and the general student populace, please stop it. Stop it. Believe in calling a spade and not a spade a pick for the sake of impressions. In this country, there are no jobs. You'll be at the university for 4 years, 6 years, 5 years. And after university, where are you going to go? Because you are saying everything is all right. No, the president is working. There had been GDP growth better than the 5% we are being told, which in my view are cooked up figures. And you want to tell, somebody wants to tell the country that no, when we took over government, the economy was in the negative, and because of our hard work, we are now recording positive economic growth. Let me tell you. Commercial break. I have to take some water. I want to tell you, whether it's a student union, if you were not there, from the time COVID came on the scene, that is COVID started around 2019, about 2019 coming up. All the economies in the world were recording negative economic growth because there was a partial lockdown of countries. Some countries completely locked down, meaning therefore that business had drastically reduced. Our mining companies here couldn't operate optimally because spares were not able to come in. Because countries where they buy spares, they buy supplies for the mines, were locked up. So business went low. All the countries. And when I was campaigning for PF in 2021, I gave the statistics of the economic growth that was recorded all over the world. All the countries were in negative. And immediately after COVID, all the economies started on a positive trajectory. Tell me which country in the region is recording negative economic growth in terms of GDP. So it's not one person, it's not one government that can make economic GDP growth go up. Because like in Zambia, we are depending on direct investment, direct foreign investment. Now, if those people who bring in money from outside are not coming, they are locked up, how do you expect investment to be? And somebody wants to boast all the time. Since we came, investment has jumped from, yes, because COVID is now over and people want to go back to normal business. That's why there's that surge in direct foreign investment. It's not one individual. And in this country, I'm getting worried. That's why we need to relook at the constitution honestly and reduce some powers of the president. Because in Onshitanomba, when there is anything to be officially opened, it is the president. Any conference, it is the president. Opening of any building, it is the president. Opening of any industry, it should be the president. When you traverse this country, you find different buildings. This was opened by Grey Zulu, Minister of Mines. This was opened by Malimba Masheke, Minister of... This was opened by Humphrey Mulemba. This was opened by Kebi Musokotwane. Today, everything, and I mean everything and anything, has to be opened by one man, the president. The minister, the minister of government, what job are you going to do? What legacy are you going to leave? Because one man is doing everything, and when minister saying Akainde's policy, because it is the policy of the UPND. It is not Akainde's policy. It is the policy of the UPND government. No, we have come to open these toilets. The president has given you these toilets. Are you sure? Building toilets from CDF money is coming from the president. I thought CDF is a community that asks for that project, and the project is funded by government through CDF. You can be saying this is coming from the president. Everything is coming from the president. No, we cannot run a country like this. We cannot run a country like this. I did opening up of a lot of buildings when I was minister. I did officiate at a lot of conferences when I was minister. Today, there's only one voice. Zambia, we are in trouble. You are going to create a monster that you find very difficult to remove. Dictators are created by people because of blind following. Stop it. Stop it and stop it. This constitution, I want to appeal to our MPs. I want to appeal to our MPs. Please, mweba mnyinef. Wa mnyinane, mweba ni mu parliament. Na mpapata. Don't vote for Bill 7. There are allegations that Bill 7 is meant to create more constituencies in certain areas. If that is anything to go by, you are going to divide this country very badly. We have asked the government to give us the delimitation report so that before Bill 7 is tabled in Parliament, we should be able to know which constituencies are earmarked for delimitation. We have not been given that report. So how are you supporting delimitation which you don't know which constituencies are going to be delimited? Even you MPs, they've not told you. So some of you think, oh, if in Imba, maybe I'm not very popular in one area of the constituency, you find that they will not delimitate your constituency. Please follow the advice of the Oasis Forum and the church mother bodies. They are not partisan. They've never been partisan. That is why they fought for constitution making process under Kaunda. They fought under Chiluba. They fought under Mwanawasa. The NCC failed. They fought Bill 10. They are fighting Bill 7. It shows clearly that they are not partisan. You may say more politician if I'm partisan, but the church, Oasis Forum, are not partisan. They don't hate anybody. It is surprising that today a head of state can say, Bampa Tafie. Abo balefo kuleta constitution amendment, na constitution ya new muno mchalo wengi, they were all fought. We never heard anybody saying me inebali mpata. We don't hate anybody as Zambians. Me, I love my brother, President Hakainde Hichilema. Even if I have been treated very badly in this country, to the extent of losing my brothers. But I can tell you, I have forgiven anybody who was involved in all my persecutions and the death of my brothers. Because I want a new beginning. I want a new Zambia where every citizen must feel safe that we are being governed by MP, by MP, by MP, by MP. How many times have I called you? 4 times. Listen to the voice of wisdom. When you go to parliament, you go for and on behalf of the people of Zambia. And I want to address my brother, Joy Ochiwe, from Ron. I am from Ron. Nobody in Ron has sent you to go and vote for Bill 7, Chiwe. Nobody. The sentiments of the people in Ron, the churches in Ron, are very clear that they don't want Bill 7. Just like they said they didn't want Bill 10, which I personally fought, and again I'm fighting Bill 7. Look at what has happened. When we said this technical committee is keeping up appearances, people thought we were joking. The president received the report on Monday. What time did he have to go through? What time did he take it to cabinet? What time did he take it to the drafters at the Ministry of Justice to go through? When did they gazette it? 24 hours later, it is in Parliament. It shows you clearly that was keeping up appearances. Which bill were they discussing? The one they told us that they've also presented a draft bill to the president? Because if they presented a draft bill, it should have gone for gazetting. But we have not seen anything in the Gazette. And can you gazette something 24 hours? Within 24 hours, it is in Parliament. Alokumona abantu kwatu bali tumpate chisumba. Mwentungulu shonsi. Mweba 11 sat CSOs for Bill 7. You are a disgrace to this country. And I want to appeal to the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Stop being used by Seventh Day. From time immemorial, my father's family, my entire family, are Seventh-day Adventists. In Shabala Umfako, when the Seventh-day Adventists started getting involved in political issues and making political statements. I've only seen it after President Hakainde Hichilema gets into office, which shows that the Seventh Day is being partisan. Because President Hakainde Hichilema is from the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the Seventh Day have now come on board to talk on civic and political issues, which they've never done. And my father used to say, commercial break. My father Jackson Mubanga Kamwalala Kambwili used to say, if we were chimpempe, tatulanda pafikansa fya chalo. If we tupepesha felando ya kwalesa tamwakatumfwe. My father must be turning in his grave. But Pastor Kapambwe kuchingoloko, you know my father. He was a strong Seventh Day. Today, the Seventh Day can say we support Bill 10, Bill 7. Take it like yesterday. It's normal for the Catholic Church. It's normal for CCZ. It's normal for EFZ because they've been there from time immemorial. The Seventh Day Mafumakuisa. You are the people who are making this country polarized. Because when there is your own, you want to participate. When it is your own, you want to support. Bakatolika, Basatabadi Bakatolika, but they fought him on the constitution. Edgar Lungu was a Catholic, they fought him on the constitution. Mwanawasa was under the evangelical fellowship of Zambia. I think it was I've just forgotten the church where he used to go. Pink. They fall under the umbrella of the EFZ. The EFZ fought Mwanawasa, despite being their member. No, by more 7th day, if more Tampa, if you have to support, if left Bakuliba HH because never 7th day is wrong. Mwala now le Chilongani no Chilongani no Chava built on very high principles. Stop it. Call a wrong, regardless of who commits it, you'll be respected. That's why the Catholic Church, EFZ, CC are respected because they don't follow whether Chiluvali New CZ under the Council of Churches in Zambia. But the Council of Churches in Zambia refused his attempt to change the constitution. They didn't support it because Chiluba was a UCZ. By 7th day, we are not saying you cannot participate in politics. If your policy has changed, yes, but call things for what they are. If it is wrong, say it is wrong. If it is right, say tekula michita paredi kwatba bantu bashikwete amano. Nese banyechilonga no cha 7th day, which I respect very much. I think I've spoken enough. I don't want to go into the issues of why Bill 7 should not be supported. People have spoken, and even last time on my broadcast, I did raise the issues. Among them, giving more power to the president. When an MP is expelled by a political party, there will be no by-election. The political party will pick another person to replace that MP. In Zambia, MPs are elected by the people. They don't elect a political party. They elect individuals who they trust that can represent them. There's no way you can just be picking somebody to go and replace an elected member of parliament. What will start happening is that by MP Ngabakano Konke Fine Bill 7, Bakula Beba that you have been expelled, Babika Pona Umbi, Bamiletelo Muntota Mutemen as MP. Secondly, you are trying to make it possible for one grouping, and I'm not saying UPND or PF, you are making it possible for one grouping to have it easy to have the 2/3 majority in parliament to pass a constitution and to pass certain things that need 2/3 majority easily. We don't need these extra constituencies. We need more money to be taken to the districts so that we can see development. We have seen a bit of development under CDF. Now, if more money is given to the local authority, because by the way, the CDF is not being administered by the office of the MP. It's being administered by the councils. So what we need is to give more money to the councils through a total devotion, decentralization. There are too many people at ministerial headquarters. There are too many people at provincial headquarters. We need those people to go in the districts to start working for the people of Zambia. We need more money in terms of salaries or housing allowance for the teachers, nurses, policemen, soldiers, doctors, so that they can be able to live in decent accommodation. We don't need more MPs. Uko alinsoke takwa fuile bantu. Ushibutukila mtembo wa mubiye no wako wine Upokwa. Chishimba Kambwili, signing off. Thank you, Zambia.
Oh my goodness.